Building, man. They talking too much about your boy, man. Like, I ain't gonna cap, man. Like, your boy, like, I'm in the sports, man. I'm in the sports. Real talk. I really had a lot of you see the description, man. I always type it in, man. This Lil Fab reacts, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. And what this is, man, I just had to, like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to come in and be talking to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? New music out. Make sure y'all like it. But y'all already know what time it is. I go straight in. There are growing concerns for Zion. What the freak going on, man? I had a lot of like hopes for bruh. You know what I'm saying? Thought bruh finna come in. You know what I'm saying? And bruh roll, but it's just like, what the freak?
Free agency, the NBA starts to slow down after Summer League, so maybe the NBA media is just trying to make something out of nothing. But we're here to bring you guys the latest information on Zion Williamson, whether or not I believe in it, and I'm sure you could already tell which one it is currently. So before we get to the content, we are 5,000 subscribers away from hitting 800,000 subscribers. When we do that, we're going to be splitting $1,000 between 5 subscribers that turn on my notifications on this channel. Now that we got all of that out of the way, cue the intro.
Now that we get all that out the way, make sure y'all subscribe to Flight Mike. Yeah, get that boy to subscribe, man. Man, doing a thing, man. Man, got time for all that, man.
Take Final Cut Pro to the next level with the ultimate bundle. Just $99 for every single Final Cut plugin.
Zion Williamson was the last player to be dubbed the greatest NBA prospect since LeBron James. And ironically, Adrian Wojnarowski didn't say this about him.
This is the most highly anticipated player to ever enter. Maybe not only the greatest prospect in the NBA's history, maybe the greatest prospect in the history of team sports.
And fortunately for Zion Williamson, the moment he entered into the NBA, he was placed in a remarkable situation. I mean, I grade general managers based upon their abilities to manage assets properly. For instance, I don't think the Portland Trail Blazers did a great job with their assets over the past 2 years. The return that they got for players like Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Josh Hart, DJ McCollum wasn't necessarily the greatest in my opinion. But you look at a team like the New Orleans Pelicans, and they were able to turn Anthony Davis into Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. The Pelicans would then trade the number 4 pick in said draft to Atlanta for pick 8, 17, and 35. Although pick number 8 is now ironically on the Los Angeles Lakers, that wasn't where it stopped for David Griffin. He brought in J.J. Redick to potentially mentor Zion Williamson. He brought in a shot guru to remake Lonzo Ball's jumper, which was a very difficult task at that. The one thing that I think David Griffin did a horrible job at was finding the right head coach. It took him some time. He had to go from Monty Williams to Stan Van Gundy, and from Stan Van Gundy to Willie Green, which I currently believe is the right head coach for them. But even furthermore, if you need further evidence of managing their assets properly, New Orleans Pelicans would trade Drew Holiday and receive Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, and
what
two
a
future
LeBron
first-round picks
fans
and
at,
two pick
bruh.
swaps with Milwaukee. And through it all, the one thing we could agree on is the fact that David Griffin did a great job, minus the head coaching hire.
Hold on. Wait, before y'all think, I am, even though I'm a LeBron fan, I got a whole bunch of people that I'm fans of. They just in freaked out situations. Real talk, I got a lot of respect for Harden, but he can't finish.
That is something completely different. That took him some time, but he eventually got it right, in my opinion. But the one thing that didn't go well for Zion is the fact that he had a lot of off-the-court drama from the moment he got drafted. I mean, almost immediately after getting drafted, Zion Williamson suffered an injury to his knee. He would make his debut later on in his rookie season in an electric debut versus the San Antonio Spurs. Very shortly after, he would injure his ankle. Then once again, during that summer, he would spend an extended period of time in conditioning. conditioning. Then he would injure his knee in August of 2020. Fortunately, during his sophomore season, we got to see Zion Williamson unleashed, and it was a sight to behold. He averaged 27 points per game off of 61% from the field, but that was his last healthy-ish season. He played 61 games that season. The very next year, he didn't play an entire season because of a foot injury, and through it all, we were just getting image after image after image of Zion Williamson looking out of shape. On top of this, there were rumors off of the court that Zion's family didn't like the fact that he was on New Orleans. There's additional sketchy situations that attributed to the fact that Zion may not want to be on the Pelicans. For instance,
Man, talk about that stripper, bro. You better get to the stripper,
when the
bro.
Pelicans traded for CJ McCollum would tell us straight up that Zion never called him to welcome him to the team.
Back, I haven't had conversations with him directly. I've spoken to some people close to him and look forward to sitting down with him sooner than later. But I don't really. I know about as much as you do right now. But
really?
I'm going to get.
JJ Redick, his former teammate turned hot take analyst, would roast him on First Take for this.
I was his teammate. I can describe him as a detached teammate.
This, combined with the fact that Zion just couldn't stay in shape, resulted in there being rumors that Zion may not want to be on the Pelicans, which was shocking considering the fact that when he does play for the Pelicans, they were quite literally the top seed in the West during the first 29 games of the season. Then once he got injured, things started to crumble. This team clearly is an awesome team. We saw their potential during the 2022 playoffs versus the Phoenix Suns without Zion. The right pieces are in place around Zion Williamson. Things would unfortunately take a turn for the worse this offseason, where at first we got a nice wholesome announcement that Zion Williamson was expecting a child. That situation took a turn for the worse when we found out that Zion was in a very strange love triangle with an OnlyFans model and a stripper. And this, combined with the fact that Shams Charania even said that the New Orleans Pelicans are trying to get Scoot Henderson
to aggressively pursue a top pick, potentially 2 or 3.
The Pelicans would make Zion Williamson available ahead of trying to get into that top end of the draft.
But the Pelicans are among teams seriously pursuing that number 2 overall pick.
Resulted in Zion Williamson being in a myriad of trade.
A top pick.
Look, you didn't see his face? He like he ready to laugh. Like, bruh, man. Bruh, these guys, real talk, bruh. Just think about it, bruh. Bruh, the women ain't stopping, bruh. They don't care about none of this junk. They hollering through all of that. They outside of the door. Yeah, the flesh is weak. It's weak, nigga. You can't do it.
Potentially 2 or 3.
The Pelicans would make Zion Williamson available ahead of trying to get into that top end of the draft.
But the Pelicans are among teams seriously pursuing that number 2 overall pick.
Resulted in Zion Williamson being in a myriad of trade rumors. Immediately, we were drumming up scenarios. Maybe Zion Williamson will go to the Portland Trail Blazers to team up with Damian Lillard. Maybe Zion Williamson will get traded to the Hornets, and that's what he needs to revitalize his career. But ultimately, the New Orleans Pelicans decided to stand pat. After all, when Zion Williamson does play, your team is incredible. Why would you want to give up on that? Well, it seems like now that things are quiet on the Zion Williamson front, of course, the media kind of has this witch hunt to try to find a reason to create some drama around Zion Williamson. So the first piece of information we got was from Shams Charania, which this was kind of obvious. I really would have loved to see Zion Williamson get traded to the Charlotte Hornets, and I thought it'd be a cute story, really close to his hometown. Maybe that's what he needs to reignite his passion for basketball. Maybe he'll get in shape when he's closer to home. I don't really know.
Go to the
Shams
Lakers,
Charania
bruh.
told us what we all expected when he went on the Pat McAfee show today.
What am I doing wrong? I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into these ads.
And said whether or not you could expect Zion to get traded.
About the potential of Zion maybe getting traded, and that it was kind of like the course had been run in New Orleans.
I wouldn't count on Zion getting traded now. I think that rested on them, the Pelicans trying to get in the top 2, top 3. We've been talking about it for weeks, even before the draft. They wanted to get high up. They wanted to go get Scoot Henderson. And I think the fact that they weren't able to do it, to my knowledge, Zion Williamson's working out. There was just that video, I think a week or 2 ago, of him doing a 360 dunk at a camp. If Zion Williamson's 100% healthy, The
100%.
Pelicans have a
Yeah,
shot
bro.
to be
Wow.
a true contender in the Western
Is this
Conference.
professional
So
athletics? You
let's-
don't have to be 100%.
Now, I want you to know that the original theory of Zion getting traded made a lot of sense. Even though it's not going to happen, the Pelicans were making some very interesting moves.
It's like
firing someone that Zion Williamson was very close to, like Teresa Witherspoon. There were
It's
reports
a-
about the Pelicans being dismayed by Zion Williamson's behavior.
it's like it's a pro and con. It's literally pro and con to being so big. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't just go to this team or that team. Yeah, everybody want him. Even I wanted to go to the Lakers. I don't know where y'all want him to go. He can go to the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? The point is, he can't go over there if he worth 500 billion or 500 million. What the freak the Rockets gonna do if they only got 20 million, 100? Like, you see what I'm saying? They going through that jump with what's the boy, Chris Paul.
But at the same time, I will
He
be
playing
honest, I don't
goofy.
think Zion Williamson is the most troublesome individual, even in his entire draft class. It's really hard to remember this, but Zion Williamson is still a young man. I mean, the guy quite literally turned 23 over this past week, and he's making mistakes that I think is normal for a person in his early 20s to make. Maybe he should be taking his diet a little bit more seriously. Maybe he's going through some tough times as well. Maybe he is making a mistake with the women that he chooses
man
to
need
surround
to
himself
be,
with. Can't necessarily expect
he
every
need-
athlete at the age
he
of 23
need-
to have the maturity that it takes to win a championship.
He needs. Let me tell you what he needs. He needs Lil Fab management and woman control. Okay, I'll teach you what to do. I'm gonna teach you.
At the age of 23. That's part of just growing up as a human being. But here's the thing. As soon as Shams came out with this information, it didn't take very long for Rick Bucher to pull some BS out of his I mean, listen to this. Zion Williamson reportedly has no interest in developing a floater and a pull-up jumper. Where are the floaters? Up and under layups. His pull-up jumpers at the elbow. Now, from what I've been told, he's shown no interest in developing any of those
God
tricks.
dang.
Bro, the fact that he's calling them tricks just automatically makes me want to nullify whatever Rick
Bro,
Bucher's
what
saying,
about-
but moving on. Tricks
Hold on,
that
hold on,
Blake
wait.
Griffin learned along with a
Oh my
decent
gosh.
three-point jumper when his pull-up jumpers at the elbow. Now, from what I
Ooh, that bit was above the rim. That bit was above the rim. Y'all see that?
at the
Like,
elbow.
up here at Fab Reacts, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you. Let me show y'all this, bruh. Let me show it to you, bruh. That bit above the rim, bruh. Why I ain't do this 1020? I ain't gotta do this, bruh. That's nice though, bruh. Like, I don't know.
Now,
what
from
freak.
what I've been told, he's shown no interest in developing any of those tricks. Bro, the fact that he's calling them tricks just automatically makes me want to nullify whatever Rick Bucher's saying, but moving on. Tricks that Blake Griffin learned along with a decent three-point jumper when the injury started to pile up for him and allowed him to single-handedly drag the Detroit Pistons to a playoff berth. Trying to compare any individual to Blake Griffin is wild, considering how he had a season and a half of productivity for the Detroit Pistons before his game fell off of a cliff. I do agree you should try to evolve your game as much as you possibly can, and I do believe Zion Williamson does have the potential to shoot the three ball eventually. I said historically I base a player's ability to convert from three based upon their free throw percentage. Zion Williamson attempted 8.6 free throws per game during this past season and the season prior, and his free throw percentage was about 70%. I think if you get him with the right shot coach, then you could potentially develop a three ball. But there's quite literally footage of Zion Williamson working on his jumper. This is just ridiculous. It seems like right when the storyline around Zion Williamson is gone, there's people that are looking for a reason to hate on the young man. At the end of the day, man, just know on this channel, if there's nothing to talk about, then I probably won't upload. I would never go and dig and try to find a reason to hate on a player like this. I honestly think that if Zion comes into this season and is in shape shape, and the Pelicans could potentially be a #1 seed once again. I think the team built around him is wonderful. You can't say
I
the
don't know
Pelicans
about all
made the
that,
right
bruh.
or wrong decision until you see how Zion's career pans out. This is one of those 50-50 calls. This is a coin flip. Either you traded Zion Williamson and you get a huge return for him, and you move on with the core you have, and Zion goes somewhere else and develops into a superstar, or Zion Williamson may have been traded away and then his career could fall off of a cliff and he can no longer be the player that he once was due to injuries, or you retain him and he becomes a superstar, or you trade him and he becomes a superstar. At the end of the day, we got a great sample size of Zion.
At the end of
we
the
know
day,
that this young man has the potential to be one of the top 3 players in the NBA in the future. The problem is him staying healthy and getting on the basketball court, and hopefully this season we'll be able to see that, because when Zion Williamson is playing, it is a sight to behold. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this? I know a lot of this stuff may have been obvious, but I figured it was enough for us to bring you a video on it. Aside from that,
man, forget all that. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Flight Mike, I just, know what I'm saying, Zion Wilson. Everybody talking about him. You ain't finna go into the real school, bruh. I'll take it. See, you want to talk about, I'll show y'all. You see, that's why they come to me. Because I'm going to give them the scoop. What a baby mama. You see what I'm saying? This was really going on, man. I want to tell y'all,
you
man.
need the right tools to make. With Shopify, you get all the right tools to sell. Design tools to build your brand, marketing tools to...
Zion Williamson has quite literally turned one of the greatest moments of his life to possibly the worst couple of weeks he could have ever imagined. And somehow, it keeps getting worse. Like, way worse. But before I can explain what happened, I need to give you a high level. So it all starts a few weeks ago when Zion and his girl went on social media and did a gender reveal to show the world that he is going to be a father. And while this was a life-changing moment for Zion and was supposed to be exciting and happy, it all went to hell when a woman named Moriah Mills took to Twitter and just aired out Williamson. And if you don't know what Moriah Mills is, well, she's an adult entertainer, and she ultimately smoked Zion with several screenshots of conversations they had and made the damning claim that she was pregnant as well. More on this later. And during this Moriah Mills scandal, social media did what social media does.
You see what I'm talking about, bruh?
About Zion Williamson's baby mama. First, social media points out a wild age gap.
See, they don't keep it real. When it's bad, you gonna have pictures with bumps on your face. You gonna look retarded, bruh. Yo, bruh, this was really going on. God dang.
When Zion's 22 and his girl is 30. Next, fans online also uncovered some disturbing information about his girl. According to reports, Williams' girlfriend used to be an adult entertainer as well, and sold illegal credit privacy to many people online. Yikes. And while social media is dropping all these truth bombs about his current baby mama, Moriah Mills is still doing her thing and going insane on Twitter. Like, just airing them out. You know, I've never seen someone just absolutely want to cook someone the way she did with Zion Williamson. With more conversations, more text messages, and a lot more statements. And the one being the worst by far is that she reportedly has a sex tape of Zion Williamson and her that she's just gonna stash away for the right moment. And she apparently threatened to release it if Zion wasn't traded from the Pelicans. And if you can believe it, while all this is happening, there's more. A third woman comes out and says that she was with Zion as well. And she just airs them out on her Instagram stories. But ultimately, this girl kind of just doesn't really do much with that information, just kind of goes away for now, I guess. This man, Zion Williamson, is playing no games. And the rumors and speculations got so bad that his dad had to come out and defend his son.
And I want to say this, and I want to be politically correct when I say it. As my son, and I love him. You know, when I was a child, I walked like a child, talked like a child, did childish things. But when I became a man, when I understood, then God blessed me. So all I'm going to say this morning, believe half of what you see and nothing you hear. That's all I'm going to say.
Just brutal. Imagine how down bad you gotta be for your dad to come out and defend you from all these allegations.
Bruh, you, hold on. So you gonna deny the receipts? Is you denying receipts?
reactions. But the funniest part is that social media finds out the function that his dad was speaking at, and they found out that it's a charity function where Zion Williamson's foundation donated $250K to help with uniform costs for children who attend new schools. While this is a great thing at heart, social media thinks that it was a PR stunt to get all the negative controversy away from Miss Moriah Mills and move it over to something positive that Zion did with his team. Bruh, imagine doing something good and everyone thinks you're doing something bad because you're in just such deep drama with this crazy person, Moriah Mills. Just a tough situation. And if you can believe it, it gets worse. Like, much worse. First, Moriah Mills tweets 1 billion times about Zion and gets her Twitter actually suspended because of all the craziness she was throwing out on the social media web. So you would assume that Zion would be able to take a deep breath of fresh air, feel really good about himself, and say, okay, I got a couple weeks until Moriah Mills doesn't bother me anymore. Well, she made sure to let Zion know that she is not playing games and will not be denied. She gets Zion's name tattooed on her face. Yes, her literal face. And she also posted on her Instagram stories a pregnancy test that someone is indeed pregnant. And she also shows a photo of an ultrasound where someone is also clearly pregnant. Is it possible that these photos are from like a friend or the internet and not actually hers? Yes, absolutely. When you're dealing with Moriah Mills, you never know what you're gonna get. Would she actually be someone to actually do something like this? Yes, absolutely. But is it also possible that she's telling the truth and these are real? Yes, also absolutely. Then we finally get to the new news. And honestly, this is the worst thing that Zion Williamson could have ever heard and imagined for the situation to get to this point. Like, we were at like a soft 5. Now we're like a 10. I'm not sure how much worse it can get from here. Because if Moriah Mills really does have all the things she says she does, he is going to be in a really tough spot. Remember that sex tape that I mentioned earlier? Well, a fan subscription site named Unfiltered is offering Moriah Mills $1 million to get the exclusive rights to the alleged recording. And the CEO, Stephanie Mateo, says, we are confident that Moriah Mills will be able to monetize her explicit content on Unfiltered in ways she wouldn't be able to do elsewhere. To be honest, I just don't even have words. Like, imagine she really does have all this stuff on Zion, and Zion gets all this sold to the highest bidder, and it really gets posted on the internet. To be honest, I don't really remember another situation with crazier accusations than this one. And the worst part about it, if it's true or not true, it really doesn't even matter. I'm not sure if Zion will ever be able to beat these accusations. Just brutal stuff. And I'm sure there will be more soon. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
When there's nothing holding you back.
What the frick going on, bruh? I told y'all, man. I told y'all it was Mo, man. Hey, man, I'm giving y'all the scoop, man. Over here, we get it in, man. Zion Williamson, man. That boy going through it, man. Hey, be back with another one, man. Lil Fab reacts. Man, y'all check out some music. Go on, man.